enjoy the movie. Alright kids, I'm gonna take you on a movie night out. We can either see A Wrinkle in Time or Goose. Which movie do you want to see? Alright. Keeps the kids quiet anyway. My oh my, it only seems fitting to pump this video out before the Americans get a hold of this gem. You know the film is going to be quite popular when it only has one trailer to promote the movie. That's how you know it's going to be exciting. So, Duck Goose, a title of a children's game, is a computer-animated adventure story done by an animation studio based in China, Original Force. I know like 2 other studios that got involved with the movie, but they don't matter. The reason why I say based in China is because the film itself is set in the Chinese landscape, and because that was when the movie was first released. Even the soundtrack of the movie has an overall Chinese flair to it. The story is about a goose named Peng, voiced by Jim Gaffigan, who is causing trouble and the rest of his flock tell him to wisen up his behavior by leading a bunch of ducklings all the way to the south to migrate for the winter. As bad luck would have it, Peng injures his wing and cannot be able to fly. At this point, he befriends 2 lost ducklings, Chi, played by Zendaya, and Chao, played by Lat Lim. While they are on their journey, they are tracked down by a cat named Banzhao, played by Whose Line Is It Anyway superstar, Greg Proops. Proops. Anyways, who will stop at nothing to catch the ducklings so he can consume them, and there's no other reason. To be honest, at first, I thought this was a DreamWorks movie, but it's not. The only 2 reasons why this film is slightly associated with DreamWorks is because 1. The studio Original Force have worked on a couple of episodes of Dragons, a DreamWorks series, and 2. Christopher Jenkins directed the movie, who was a visual effects animator at Disney and a one-time producer at DreamWorks. Kinda reminds me of the time when Joe Stillman, who was the writer for Shrek, also wrote the script for Planet 51, and look at how that turned out. It was on a Sunday and we only had a small audience of 12 people to see the movie. They sat down and they were decent throughout the movie, and it seems like they were taking the whole movie in. I don't think they even laughed at any of the jokes that happened in the movie, nor got scared at certain scenes. Oh wait, they did react to that one Greek gross-out joke. That's something. Okay, so this movie didn't really leave much of an impact to the audience watching, but did it leave an impact on me, however? No. I mean, what else do you expect from this movie? It's a standard adventure story about the protagonist who's cranky, rebellious, and clearly has his own rules, learning about family and responsibility for your actions across the way. There is nothing new being added here, it's literally just a cut and paste template of a story structure. Set up characters, done. Introduce conflict, done. Introduce villain, done. Character development, done. Predictable climax, done. And this leaves the movie feeling empty, boring, and generic because the majority of the movie, everything you know is going to happen, happens. You can watch an episode of Tom and Jerry and get the same amount of enjoyment as you would out of an 89-minute movie. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Be right back. While I can say the story is certainly lackluster, the CGI is actually not that bad. It has its flaws, sure, but the amount of detail cannot go unnoticed. It has vibrant colors, rich textures, and even fluid animation. The background of China has a story of its own to tell, and I can see where the amount of effort and experience that went behind the making of this movie. Staying on the positives, the music isn't that bad either. And I don't mean the lousy pop songs. The soundtrack has its own flavor and tries to bring more light out of an underwhelming movie. I can go so far to say that it mirrors the style of Alan Silvestri in terms of excitable music scores, and I wouldn't mind listening to it again if it was on Spotify. Okay, back to bad-mouthing this movie now. Regarding the characters, Peng is your standard cranky protagonist who gets warmed up by children. Then we have Chi, a 16-day-old chick who is voiced by a 20-something actress. Makes sense to me. Alongside Chi is the most annoying character in the movie, Chao, who has the perfect role in the movie of complaining, crying, saying words like cool and awesome, and farting a whole lot. Don't worry, we'll get to that. Next we have Banzhao, who speaks like Golem for some reason. He even has a dual personality, because with a movie like that, really hopes that kids have seen Lord of the Rings. I suppose if you can't think of a distinctive voice to give to the villain, you might as well ask Greg to do an impression. Jinjing is your token love interest who excuses Peng's misfortunes because she's stupid, and also buries a squirrel. You know, that squirrel from the movie poster? He only shows up in the movie for like 10 minutes and that's it. You know, now that I think about it, with a cast whose names consist of Peng, Chi, Chao, Banzhao, Jingjing, and Bing, they sure do sound like Americans. The jokes of this movie are as low as you can possibly imagine. I have never laughed at any of the jokes. I mostly groaned while face-palming in my own discomfort of how far they are willing to stretch for a laugh. Luckily, the audience didn't laugh much during the movie. There is this one joke that I groaned at where one of the geese is like, "Why do we fly in a V formation?" And the other one's like, "It's more aerodynamic." And the other goose is like, "How about a W formation? How about an A formation?" I'll let you guess the punchline. Not to mention the main aspect of the comedy rests on the amount of fart jokes sprinkled in between. I am not kidding. The bird farts, the duckling farts, and even the pig farts, which probably explains the PG rating for rude humor and mild peril. I'm honestly shocked that the humans don't fart too. While you have your fart jokes, you also have gross out jokes like puking, and the main character suffering from slapstick disease due to his broken wing. Like the story, the jokes are jokes that you know are going to happen in a movie about birds being birds. And last but not least, the voice acting, which I have to say is quite decent. Some of the voices don't fit like Zendaya and Lance Lim, for example, but clearly with actors like Stephen Fry, Carl Reiner, and Rick Overton do sound like they are having fun with their performances. And the dubbing does sync up with the action on screen pretty well. Considering this is a film made in China, there was some surprise here and there. So with all that being said, there were some good aspects that helps the movie to stand out on its own, but the bad aspects just pushes it down to a slant and it makes the film look all crooked. In conclusion, this movie isn't worth your time. As I had mentioned before, you can get the same amount of enjoyment out of an episode of Tom and Jerry at a shorter running time. There are redeemable parts of the movie, but they don't help save the story, the jokes, and the characters in any way. If you really want to see a movie about birds that badly, I suggest you go watch either Rio or Chicken Run. Duck Duck Goose is just a waste of your time and you won't even get satisfaction out of it. So to be fair, this is Original Force's first theatrical animated film. So perhaps their next project can iron out the flaws and deliver a fun and enjoyable movie? But hey, what do I know? This is just from an Usher's position.